opportunity to share my teaching method that is actually very experimental for this semester. So this is my basically the idea is about alternating between the two. It is a combination of for the usual conventional, and also active learning session. Now, let me first give the outline here. I want to first point out the problems about the active learning, because it is quite the opposite side that I have already experienced, not only in the classes, whether in the bachelor years, but also from looking at the lectures from online. They are pretty much amazing lectures, but most of the time they are not really giving you any kind of active learning activities in there. More of the latter. So from that, I will give the alternating conventional lecture and active learning sessions. This is the method that I will be presenting, and then follow that with some conclusions and further plans. Now, the disclaimer here is that I will only share my method. So if there are any inputs or any questions, I can accept that, because this is pretty much experimental. Okay. So now. Now, the first thing I just want to mention here is that my classes is pretty much heavy on the mathematics, and it is applied mathematics, okay? So, first thing first, this is actually like the first part in general physics too, so they should be prepared about what they will be coming about. And what I want to just emphasize here is that the physics in the university level always needs to be able to delve into math derivations, in a sense that they should be able to think about physics not only in the intuition sense, but also in quantitative sense. Okay, so how to be logical about for the argumentative sake, it is very important, because from that they will be able to think a little bit in the quantitative side and a little bit in qualitative side. It's very encouraging for them to be able to do that. Now, of course, I mentioned about linear algebra, vector calculus, multiple integral, vertical also statistical methods, a lot of things. Just to emphasize that, physics can be difficult, but we can also learn it a little bit differently. It is okay, because I am actually learning most of it in doctoral years, to be honest. So it is like repeating for twice, and suddenly, okay, that makes sense, but I still don't understand about this, and I still learn it again and again. So, as you can see, also the problem with the syllabus itself, it is actually a general problem here, is that the syllabus is kind of dense. We actually need to teach the students like one and a half of volume 1 and half of volume 2 here, and then for general, that is for general physics 1. For general physics 2, they need to learn half of that here, and then about half of that also in here. So it is kind of convoluted, as you can see from the amount of this one here. The mechanics, all of that is pretty much, pretty much easy actually. This is for the high school students, but the waves and acoustics, it is not something that they usually are familiar with in the high school actually. So the wave here is kind of challenging. The thermodynamics is pretty familiar. Now the electricity and magnetism, it is related to the mathematics that I showed you before. Okay, so everything in the volume 2 here, this is why I showed them first about the mathematics, just for them to be afraid first. Just to be afraid, but then they will realize that it's not really that difficult. Okay, so it is something that I just want to emphasize. Now, in the optics, everything in here, it is actually coming from the Babylonian mathematics, in Greek mathematics. So I pretty much just say to them, we can learn about this rather than memorizing the equations. We can just learn about the mathematics and how to make sense of it using trigonometry and so on. But usually it is not really it is not really that easy to understand if we don't delve into the apparatus, whether that the lenses, about the mirrors itself. So pretty much in here I give them the assignments to do something. Okay? And then also about modern physics. Luckily, I don't really need to explain about the modern physics, because all of these things need mathematics that are not apparent in there. So in the meantime, usually I just give them a little bit of outline in the quantum mechanics and a little bit of that in the relativity, but they are not the focus on the general physics courses. Now, all of this, this is the materials in the calculus 1. As you can see, this is material for calculus 2. How about the rest? They are not really touched, but in the introductory to optics and thermodynamics, we are actually including the wave and acoustics and also the interference and diffraction. These two things is not really, they are quite confusing in the mathematics side, because the equations are quite similar, but the mathematical definitions is quite different. Okay, so this is something that is challenging. Now, of course, I also wanted to emphasize that there are lots of lectures on the online. Pretty much, this is the Walter Lewin. This is the legendary figure in the MIT. He already retired years ago, but his lectures are quite influential, because they are very much the early years of MIT OpenCourseware. So it is quite interesting. Now, there are this is actually from his personal YouTube account. Okay, so he's still active in YouTube, and all of his lectures are pretty much open, and he compiled all of them in 3. So it is like the general physics 1, general physics 2, but he also have like general physics 3 in here. Now, of course, the most important thing that I think pretty much different from Indonesia is that they have these tutorial sections in the other class. So they have like the usual lecturing session. They also have the tutorial session. This is actually the part that I think are much more relatable to the active learning part here, because everything they usually have the quizzes or problem sets, and all of the quizzes and problem sets are being discussed in these 2 lectures. And as you can see, we have like 84 videos, 58 videos, and then lots of videos for them to learn. Now, the interesting part about his lectures is that, of course, his ability to be very, very funny and engaging due to his, he is pretty eccentric, I should say. But the problem with his class is that I should identify here is that the first one is basically his class is huge. It is consisting of, this is actually like an auditorium that has maximum like 100%, right? And this is like if we have classes in the Sampoerna University, usually we have like most 30% in the one session. So it is like a joining of at most like 3 sessions in one meeting. Now, this is interesting because from this large class here, the demonstration tools can be easily concentrated in there, and they can be made into just one meeting, and from that they can also have more time for discussions. Now, the second part here, what they usually don't show you is that we can just use the YouTube algorithm here, right? So you have like a little bit of distribution of how many views in here, the height is how many views, this is the location of the duration. So you can see the pendulum session is actually on the last part. There are some demos in here, but they are not really that much. But most of the lectures are much more using blackboard. Now, last thing here is that the problem here that we face actually pretty much in Indonesia is that we have like 16 weeks, but it is subtracted with 3 weeks for maiden and final. I also subtract 2 weeks for Lebaran and any holiday tolerance. This is just to manage that I want all the materials to be delivered to the students rather than only delivering them in parts, because everything that they learn here is pretty much just the basics, and some of the materials here are essential for the next courses. So I want them to know everything, and so what I'm doing here is that I want to give them at least this much of time, at least 11 weeks. And so usually I compile only like 11 parts of the lecture notes. This is just compiling all the 3 books that I give them here. So all of the materials in here, I compile it into 11 lecture notes from these 2 parts, 11, and these 2 parts also another 11 for the physics 1 and physics 2. So every week I give them one lectures. Now, I noticed that the feature that in many university and pretty much in Ivy Leagues, they have these conventional lectures, the usual conventional lectures, and also the tutorial classes. This is what I noticed, and I want to also apply in classes. So, in a sense, here I want to combine the active learning parts and the conventional learning parts. So I pretty much want to be in the middle here, mainly by applying these 2 things. So for General Physics 1 and General Physics 2, we have like 2 meetings in only 1 week. So every meeting have 2 hours. No, actually not 2 hours, but 100 minutes. So 50 times 2. So mainly for 2 meetings, the first one is for conventional lectures using blackboards and slides and FAT actually, and then also for the rest is problem set sessions. So this is pretty much questions and answer sessions. They are pretty. This is pretty free time for me and for them to discuss about things that are not coverable in the lectures. Okay. Not only for okay, so this is actually applicable for me to the General Physics 1 and General Physics 2, but eventually I need to adjust this method for the introduction to optics and thermodynamics because it has less credit. So only 1 meeting for 1 week. So I'm still thinking about that. Now this is the visualizations about the Canvas, the Canvas modules. So in each week, usually I give them the headers here. This is meeting 23 to 24, meaning that this is actually 24 divided by 2, so 12 in the week 12. This consists of the materials, lecture 9, reading assignments. This is the online quiz that I designed to them from the Canvas, and then also P-sets following the lectures here. And then we have 3 entries in here. This is the PET simulations. These 2 are actually just YouTube videos that I give them so that they can have a little bit of refreshment. Rather than only refreshment, they can also learn things. Now, in lecture 1, usually in meeting 1, we have only lectures, so I usually give them the focus to see the lecture 9, and also all the refreshments in here. Usually this is how to make them a little bit, most of them are pretty much passive in the class, and some of them are pretty, I see some of them just sleeping in the class, and I see some of them doing other assignments from other classes. I'm having no problem with that actually. This is their own responsibility. So to be honest, these 3 here is just acting like a refreshment. Now, the session 2 is actually the presets, so I provide them the presets first here, and then also after the meeting to finish or at the end of the week, I want them to do the reading assignments. So basically what I give them here is I want them to read at least the book a little bit rather than only seeing the compiled versions about my lectures in here. So the lectures here is practically just this is the total lecture for one of the classes here. Pretty much all of them are handwritten, as you may see here, and also they are untitled, so that students will need to read the lectures and identify the materials by themselves. That's one part. And then also I give them some refreshments in order so that they can have a little bit more adventure in there. Now, this is what I did in last year, like 1 year. I pretty much compile. I usually use this XP pen here, XP pen. By doing that, I can write my entire lectures using only my handwriting and doing a lot of diagrams, because we have lots of diagrams and lots of calculations, and so usually I just write it down like this. But some of the interactive simulations can help, but not really all of them. Now the most interesting thing is that it also consists of the one from the Flash era. Now some of it can be run, and usually this part here, they consist of some interesting simulations that are currently not available in HTML5. What we have, most of the simulations are already converted to HTML5 and prototype, and some of them are also accessible by JRPG for Java here. But the ones more interesting are actually here. Now, I also give them some videos from YouTube. There are lots of interesting YouTubers out there. We have Steve Mode, we have Veritasium, and then the Action Lab, as you have seen from before. But I actually want to shout out to Technology Connections. He actually give like long videos, but they are interrelated to not only physics but also economy and so on. But it is much more about technology and past technologies. It's very, very interesting. So I just want the students to at least have a look for these 3 things and these 4 things. Now also there are people in the era that actually have a more organized website that they give. This is actually in the high school level, but all of the materials here is also including this is actually only a part of it. The website is quite long. This is from Bozeman Science. And this is something that I recommend the students to see rather than only seeing me lecturing about and having a lot of hiccups. He is much more better. Now the preset session that this is the part that I think are quite reminiscent for the classes that I think in Bu Eci and Bu Fani and Bu Tesinta. I use problem sets. They are actually from the examples in the textbooks. So at least I want them to be familiar with the textbook by doing this activity here. And I want them to just work in groups because of the limitation of the whiteboard here. Right? More than 4 equations will not be accommodated. So pretty much 1 question, 1 group, and only 4 questions. That is in each week. Now, additional tasks, of course, by providing a little bit of challenge for them. I usually have them to do group projects in presentation mode, and most importantly, there are these groups where they always use blacks rather than this one. So it reminds me of libero, to be honest, like volleyball teams. So in a sense, in a sense, they have the experience how to present things in any kind of situations rather than only using this one, but they can also have another way to present things. As you may not really see here, but into this group actually voluntarily give some kind of demonstration using this telescope. They are presenting about telescope, and they give me a little bit of demonstration using their own telescope. This is actually owned by one of them. On the left figure here, this is actually from the quizzes from the canvas, and this is quite interesting to use, but I'm still struggling to use this one because of the materials actually. So this is ongoing process. Now, final and mid-exam, this is sadly still conventional, and most of the time I see that most of them are quite proficient in cheating. So, so what I think that I want to, so what I think rather than focusing them on, okay, let's have less cheating, but I think I can be much more, it is much more encouraging to them to how about if we just increase the projects, increase the presentation projects rather than focusing on the exams. So this is the problem that I'm still struggling with, and to be honest, I think this is the part that is the drawback in my method. So lastly, about the conclusions, it is as you can see, this is actually for the general physics 1 and 2. I give them conventional part, which is consisting of online demos and slides. The boring part, I say to them, and then active part will be set and group project presentation. This is the part that they can do other assignments from other courses. So I just give them more leniency in my classes because as I have mentioned, actually from the computer science class, they have lots of assignments that take a lot of their time, and to be honest, I cannot really prohibit them to do their assignments because to be honest, my class is pretty much boring. I know that they will be bored. So it is quite complicated for me to just, okay, you need to do my courses because of that. Usually I just want them to do the group project, and some of them can be doing that rather than all of them doing that. But at the final exam, I think this is the part that pretty much showcases their own skills. Now, the further plans that I want to focus on is basically less percentage on the exams, but more percentage on the presentation, because I think in Indonesia, most of the students are not really proficient in presentation. And that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bapak, for sharing with us. So it is time for the Q&A session. Is there any question that you want to ask?
Your presentation is alternating the convention and active, so I will not focus on active because I can see that the active learning motivates students to participate, to share their skills. And I want to focus on the convention one, that you said that it is boring and the students are doing their other works, maybe they are sleeping. So how are you going, what you can do to make your convention part more attractive, more engaging? Because even though it is convention, I think I understand that the convention part is for you to present materials, right? So the students understand the concept that you are teaching. but what can you do to anticipate that boredom, less motivated to listen to the concept that you are presenting?
Okay, thank you, Papri. So the one that I give them, so this is actually from some refreshment. So rather than only just give showing them slides, usually not only that, not only these simulations and YouTube, I usually use the whiteboards, and actually this is the class that I use. But the whiteboard is somehow can go to the back, so I need to like go retrieve that. And I heavily use the whiteboards a lot so that they have more focus on the materials. And also, what I want to emphasize is that all of the materials also include some kind of mathematics, and I want them to really follow the step-by-step through. And so most of that will be handwriting. But as you may see, not everyone will be engaged. How to make them escape that boredom is, of course, going back again from these YouTube videos again. So everything that in the YouTube era here, they can actually, I'm not really that informed about the YouTube era because a lot of educators are already sharing their thoughts in there, and most prominently is actually the Khan Academy. The explanation from the Khan Academy is really good, but to be honest, they don't really give you the calculus part about that. So usually, not only from using refreshments like this, I go back to the mathematics again. So let's give them this, just to make them awake again. Because all of this, everything is kind of like a shock again, and then I go to the boring part, and I give to the videos again, and I go to that. So it is like going up and down and up and down. And to be honest, I need their inputs because again, from using this type of thing, they can be engaged. Some of them can be engaged, but not everyone. But to be honest, I'm open to their inputs so that maybe they can have a little bit of insights from what they are thinking. You know, as you can see, a little bit of age differences kind of having like a wall outside of you, right? So I usually also take their advice so that maybe they have like some kind of videos, maybe they want more like lab activities and so on in the class, and it is still something that I pretty much learn, and I don't know what kind of the solutions that we have here. Any question?
Yes, Ilham, thank you. Yeah, honestly, this is quite hard. I mean, like, compared to account or something, I did that when I was in my graduate. Perhaps, Pak Ilham, even though this is quite hard to me, I mean, like maybe for most of the students, it seems like probably like because you really want this physics interesting. So I was just wondering, like this video, I mean, like the big idea of your lesson, like what is it about? Like what are you having? Like for example, like oh, I want my class to like by learning physics, so my students will be what? Something like that, right? So that's a big idea. What is the goal, the goal of your lesson? And then going to the, let's say, I don't know about this, like for example, like you're talking about, in the video there is like a curve, oh okay, I could see like this one, I mean like in that certain minutes, you know, audience or viewers tend to, you know, like have kind of interest, something like that, right? So probably using that, then you can, what is it, like invite the students, why my audience want to have, like view this scene rather than the others. And then perhaps then after that you could, what is it, like integrate them with the what is it, the formula, the numbers things, something like that. We have students here, so maybe they can give some. So I think maybe we could have like hands-on experience, but Ilham, for example, like you're talking about optics, you're talking about something, so probably YouTube is good, but I was just wondering if I were your student, so I would like to have like hands-on experience. Why there is certain like for optic, like I don't know, like sound, something like that. So what makes that speaking something?
Not just to emphasize here is that my part here in general physics 1 and general physics 2, they have their own accompanying lab classes. So usually in the hands-on part, I just give that on the other side. Because not only that is much more interesting for them just to follow things and have a little feeling with the apparatus there, they have also less, actually less constraint, because the lab classes, usually I have like a lab assistant, and lab assistant, I want the lab assistant to be as young as possible. What I mean is that maybe it is their senior, but so that they have less constraint rather than me just going to the class and they have, the demeanor is quite different, I should say. Now about the video again, so we have like some parts in here. This is something that I also give them, but again, usually in the classes, because the material is quite long, sometimes I don't remember the video, some part of it. Now, to be honest, this is my target also, to like pinpoint what part of the videos that I want them to show, rather than showing them all of the durations, like 47 parts in here. Now, this is the part that I think much more interesting if I can use like the YouTube shorts and so on. Some of them are quite interesting, but to be honest, I need to scroll through. So I need to still I still need to find out what kind of information is out there. There are some interesting, like I think there is like physics is fun. It is actually lectures from the current MIT professor, and he really show you lots of experiments in very short amount of video, like 5 minutes. It's very interesting. But again, it is sparse, unlike the ones that I have that I see from these Bozeman videos. This is already organized. So I want to have also this organization myself, and this is something that I'm still working on, to be honest. Now, I think that's all.
What I meant is the video. I mean, like just like the ones with the video is not like viewing the video. Like because you mentioned about like here in this certain minutes, like it's higher, and then so maybe if there's something related to physics, maybe students can invite the students to analyze why in this something like that. And then in the other slide, you mentioned that the students when they presented their materials, they also bring their own what is it like? So it means like they're really interested. They want to know how they connect the physics to the real life. So probably that's what we could also do them.
This is something that I also emphasize. So, okay, do you want to have more scores? I recommend you to do this type of thing. So usually, this is something that I also emphasize, is that you can have interesting PowerPoints and so on, but let me see a little bit of math, but let me also see a little bit of something else in there. But I don't force them to do that, to be honest. This is actually one of the only like one group. The other group, they have like a quiz and so on, and they pressure me to give them A and so on. It's quite interesting, to be honest, in this part. So I just, to be honest with you, I want these sessions to be more actually in my classes. And designing that is still something that I think about due to the constraints of time, also the many things that I need to give them. Yeah, this is something that I'm quite honestly want to do. And also I want to also have these quizzes here because it acts like a pre-test and post-test type of thing, right? I want them to have this type of thing so that I can monitor what kind of things that they need to work on or I need to work on and so on.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Susi, for the suggestion. So it is already 10 past 10. Let us give applause to Pak Ilham.